This is AgriCountry, brought to you in part by ALLIS-CHALMERS and your nearby ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer. And here's your host for AgriCountry, Ed Johnson.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to AgriCountry. We're going to begin this week's show by capturing for you the Ohio FFA judging contest as we feature the young people who wear the blue jackets.
Then we'll take you to the Golden Acre Turkey Farm, Seneca County, just at the west edge of Tiffin.
And also on today's show, we'll visit with Francille Fireball, who heads up all the activities in the School of Home Economics at Ohio State. Welcome to AgriCountry.
Your ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer is offering some powerful reasons to buy an AC 5030 or 5020 diesel-powered tractor. Both of these mighty 25 and 31 horsepower ALLIS-CHALMERS diesels give you 12 forward speeds plus differential lock. And right now you'll find big savings on diesel power at your nearby ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer's place. We begin today's AgriCountry broadcast with an event that certainly carries a lot of memories for those of us who are alumni of the FFA. The Ohio FFA Judging Contest. We've been to parts of the meat contest. We've taken in part of the entomology contest, the dairy judging contest, and the wool judging, and now we're at the carcass phase of the meat judging contest, and with the gentleman who for a number of years has put together the Ohio FFA judging contest, a supervisor in vocational agricultural education, John Watkins. John, nice to have you as a guest on AgriCountry. How many years have we been having the Ohio FFA judging contest?
Ed, this is the 59th annual convention, annual judging contest.
I see blue jackets all over the place. How many will be in for this year's contest?
Today we'll have about 3,000 young men and women from FFA.
I mentioned some of the contests. You mentioned the rest, perhaps.
This afternoon we're going to have agronomy, cooperative, and general livestock. Now we also have waterfowl, mammal identification, poultry and egg, farm management, are a few of the others I think that you didn't mention.
And I think also we've got, I believe, the dairy products.
Dairy products is on yet this morning in Vivian Hall, right now.
Well, I can remember being an FFA member to Lancaster chapter and came up here, was involved in dairy products, general livestock, dairy judging. Always look forward to that, John.
Incidentally, Ed, this last year's college freshmen here at Ohio State, 30% of those people said their first time on the Ag College campus was at this event.
Well, I think that would be the situation for many of us. I feel, John, if we had to pinpoint a given activity of vocational agricultural education in Ohio and the FFA as to something that is so basic, I think we can certainly say that about the judging contest.
See, this started back before FFA. This started in 1921 with vocational agriculture. And it's been a continuous activity ever since then.
Share with our viewing friends, John, some of the preparation that these teams, these chapters have gone through in previous months before ever coming here.
Well, Ed, we believe and are sure that the activities that we conduct here are an outgrowth of the instruction that they're getting in their local vocational agriculture classes. And as a result of that instruction, all of them hold local eliminations or contests, if you will, or some way of determining who the better students are in a particular area, whether it be ag mechanics. We forgot to mention ag mechanics, incidentally, Ed. It's going on today, too. Or meat, or poultry, or farm management, whatever it is. Then those top students from the chapters then will participate in many cases in district contests or regional contests. Not all. Some will come directly to the state, but some will have regional contests or district contests, and then to this activity here, the state contest.
So a lot of hours have gone into preparation, and also there's a lot of competition here.
Oh, yes, yes. We have 22 different contests in the state. Now, some of those are held in the fall. Fewer in the fall. Our horticulture and floriculture is in the winter, incidentally. during the annual convention of floriculture and horticulture people, and the rest of the contests are held today. And this allows us, you see, to then present the awards at the state FFA convention, which is coming up.
How many members on a team, John?
It varies with the contest, Ed. Our Ag Mechanics contest is a one-person team, one individual. Waterfowl and mammal, for example, are a two-person team. All the rest, I think about all the rest that I can think of now, are three people on the team. It takes three to make up a team.
What would be the event that would draw the most teams from across Ohio?
General livestock, still our big one. Last year we had 252, and this year it looks like we're going to have about the same number. Dairy is a close second. We'll have about 230 dairy teams in here today.
Some of the departments have two teachers, John. Occasionally we even see three teacher departments. Will a given teacher take the responsibility for training the students for the judging contest?
Yes, I think that's typical. Teachers will tend to train the teams that they feel most competent in, and by splitting up the assignments, they can do a better job of fine-tuning these youngsters and getting them really ready. So yes, that happens. They specialize once the instruction's given and they're ready to fine-tune the individuals that will be here today.
Now, what about the teams, John, who win the state contest today? Where from here?
Excellent. Ed, we're fortunate in that we can send and do send some of our second and third place teams to regional contests. For example, we have a good regional FFA judging contest in the eastern region of the FFA in Springfield, Massachusetts every fall. And we, in Ohio, send our second place teams to the regional contest, and our first place teams then go to the national FFA competition in Kansas City in the fall.
And what an honor that is.
Oh yes, and our teams normally do very well in national and in regional competition. In fact, Ed, in the regional competition for the last 3 years, Ohio has won the sweepstakes award, which means that we have placed higher in more contests than any other state in the 15 states in eastern United States.
John, nice to have you with us. Our guest, John Watkins, who heads up annually the Ohio FFA Judging Contest. John, nice to have you as a guest on AgriCountry.
Thank you, Ed. Sure a pleasure to be here.
When you think combine, I want you to think Gleaner. Remember that your ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer has both the rotary and conventional in 6 different sizes. The Gleaner gives you more capacity, more productivity, and more value for your dollars invested. See your ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer today. Might be spring, but it's always turkey time at the Golden Acres Turkey Farm. We're just outside of Tiffin, Ohio, and of course that's Seneca County. Ed, nice to be with you as we visit with Ed Bain. We're going to also be visiting with Dennis, who gets involved in the processing part of the operation here, and also with Donna, who is over at the retail store. How many birds do you like to raise here, Ed, in a year's time?
About 20,000 a year. Mostly for the holiday season. Start in May, June, and July, so they're right weight for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
How many birds in this barn now?
3,000 birds.
And you have several barns, and you rotate them from barn to barn, I understand.
Yeah, we start them in a tight building where we can control the heat in 4 weeks while we'll move them. And each time we move them, we cut down on the heat until they feathered out at about 8 weeks. And then from there on, why, no heat at all.
Where do you get the little chicks?
They come from Oakwood, Ohio. Cooper's Hatchery.
What would a chick cost you?
They cost around $1 a piece. That's a day old.
1 day old. Is that the critical point to get them started?
Yeah, about the first 4 weeks is real critical. They're about like humans. You got to keep them warm and no draft, and try to help them eat and drink and just make them comfortable.
How many weeks to take? You like to market the hens, I think you said about 12, 14 pounds.
the toms heavier than that. But how many weeks are we talking about for a finished bird?
About 20 weeks for the hens, and about 25, 28 weeks for toms, depending on the size you want your tom to work with.
And what percent, Ed, of toms and hens do you normally bring in?
We usually try to run 75% hens and 25% toms due to the holiday sales. Prefer more hens than toms.
When do those big old tail feathers start to develop in those toms?
They start probably about 10 weeks old.
I noticed that the top half of the beak has been trimmed back.
Yeah, that there is to help them from fighting. They can't get quite as good as bite when that top beak is gone. It don't affect their feeding or water or anything like that, or growing. It just helps that fighting.
How many pounds of feed would it take to, say, take an old tom to 20 pounds?
Probably about 50, 60 pounds on the hens and probably about 75 pounds on the tom.
And what kind of feed ration, Ed, do you go with?
It's concentrating corn, and that varies with the protein that we're growing for. You use more protein, so that way you use more concentrate than corn to start with, and toward about the middle of the season when it goes the other way, you use more corn than you do concentrate.
What percent protein would the ration be?
Anywhere from start out about 30% when they're little and drop off to about 15 when they're finished.
Can the feeding ration affect flavor, as we all often think that when we talk about beef, that the way you feed out beef can affect tenderness and flavor and so forth?
Yeah, the whatever you put in that bird, you're going to get out of him. So if you're putting good feed in, he's going to be good and juicy when you dress him. And if he's out there eating grasshoppers and grass, dead grass, why, he's going to be dry and tough.
Ed, at what age would the hens begin laying eggs?
Probably about 24, 28 weeks old. And again, it would depend a little bit. If you was to keep a turkey for laying eggs, you would feed him different than you would for meat.
Is there any demand by the consumer for turkey eggs?
No, they'd probably be too expensive for the consumer to buy.
What's the biggest challenge in a turkey operation?
Disease, probably, to watch your birds, and because they can look good in the morning, and at night a disease can come in, and if you don't catch it the next morning, you're in trouble.
How much is the weather of concern to you, being in north central Ohio?
Not too much. You control your little birds pretty much with fans or exhaust fans. And then in the summertime with our pole buildings, the sides are open and the air is moving in there. Even on the hottest days, they'll pan a little bit, but never lose any from smothering or from the heat.
How many acres here at the farm?
We go over 280 acres.
Can you raise enough corn to supply all your needs here?
No, only about a third.
Only about 1/3.
Yeah. So
any other livestock, Ed?
Oh, we have a few beef cows that we run in the creek bottom for our lawnmowers, and have a little steak once in a while besides turkey.
The next step in the Golden Acre Turkey Farm operation, of course, is processing and smoking. And we're going to go from here and visit with Dennis. We're now here in the processing plant at the farm, Dennis. Mm-hmm. How many people does it take to operate this phase of the operation?
It takes about 25.
How many birds can you handle in here per hour or per day?
We usually try and run around 12 to 1,500 birds per day.
It's a lot of birds.
Well, it has to be that way today with the cost of production and everything. Automation has to be a major factor in the processing.
How did you learn the automation?
Well, there's companies that sell you equipment or whatever, just like farm equipment. They'll come around and show you a 4-row planter, then an 8-row planter, then a 12-row planter. So I guess the same thing as in processing equipment. You go from one thing and then they come up with something new and you read articles about it and say, you know, how you cut your cost. And so basically you get a piece now and then, and gradually you can cut your costs and stay competitive in this highly competitive market.
The steps, I understand, Dennis, in this poultry operation would be to bring the birds from the barn where Dad and I were visiting into the processing plant, and then right in here at what we call the smokehouse, and standing right in the smokehouse.
We're standing in the smokehouse.
And it's hot.
It's very hot right now. We are doing some processing today and doing some cooking, and obviously everyone today wants their turkey ready to go. Pre-cooked turkey breast, turkey ham, salami. Everybody wants it ready to go these days. Thanksgiving, the turkey whole is fine, but the rest of the year they want it ready to put on the table.
And they can just slice it right down and use it.
Yes, sir. They can slice it right down and use it, and things like at institutions as well as individual housewives are demanding this these days. So we are complying by making all these different turkey products, about 30 to be complete.
How long will you bring the meat in here to smoke it?
It takes about 8 to 12 hours, depending on size of the piece to be smoked and cooked. It takes at least 8 hours and a lot of times up to 12 hours to get it done completely.
What temperature?
Internal on poultry has to be at 160 before we're allowed to pull it out.
You develop turkey hot dogs, Dennis. Now, will you put them here through this process, or are they all fresh?
No, hot dogs are pre-cooked. You never got a raw hot dog. They're all cooked. You warm them up maybe, but that's the best you can do. So yes, all hot dogs have to be rolled into this oven and cooked. And if we do smoking for any specific reason, then the smoke is turned on. So we do develop hot dogs, bologna, salami, pastrami, the whole thing out of 100% turkey.
And it's getting hot in the smokehouse, and we're going to take you from here and go visit with Donna Sabine over at the retail store. Donna, in this particular meat case, what would be some of the popular items that you have here?
Well, some of the more popular things are the turkey roast, which is a breast and a thigh. It would be half of a turkey that's boned and rolled and tied, and it's a very popular item.
How much weight?
It's about 3/4 white and 1/4 dark, just the way it comes from the turkey.
And total pounds?
Well, they'll run from 3 through 8 pounds, depending on the size of turkey you're using, and it also helps out the size of meal you're fixing.
What else do you have in this case that the gals kind of enjoy getting?
All right, we have whole turkeys that we carry year-round, and they'll average, I suppose this is about a 15, 16 pounder, and they'll start around 10 and go to large ones.
And aren't you finding that more ladies are going to full turkeys other than the holidays?
Yes, especially for bigger meals. They have a family gathering, and they'll put a turkey in to roast, and no work, just put it in and roast it.
And extremely economical.
Right. Mm-hmm.
How much are we talking about to buy a turkey this time of year per pound?
Oh, we keep our price the same year around. Whatever we set for the season goes right on through.
What would that be?
$1.29.
And that is economical. You have some patties.
Yes.
Like hamburger patties.
Like hamburger patties, and they come frozen. You use them frozen. There's 8 to a package, and they fry a little faster than your hamburgers do, and they're quite popular.
Would that be a mixture of both white and dark meat?
Right. Mm-hmm. Made into a patty.
What else do you have in here? I see meatloaf?
Meatloaf.
Turkey loaf.
Turkey
I don't
loaf.
believe it. There it is.
Just pure ground turkey made just like a meatloaf and just like your beef, but it's turkey.
And of course, Dennis processes all of this over at the farm.
He's the main operator on that, and we have a cube turkey thigh or a cube steak type, and that's very popular. They use it on the grills all summer long. You can bake it in the oven, whatever way you make a regular cube steak, you use it with turkey.
All right, I want to move up, Donna, to this next case because the items in this case just look awfully attractive. Would you get some of that smoked meat that we have there?
Okay.
Because you talk about an attractive piece of meat. Share with our viewing friends what you have there.
That's a smoked turkey roll, and we process these at the plant, and it's same as your other, it's breast and thigh, and it's rolled and tied, and it's cured and smoked and cooked. So all you have to do is slice it.
I bet you find that to be a very popular item here at the store.
It's been very popular years because we've had this a long time, and very popular item. And in the holidays, it's a big gift item.
There's a search underway here in Ohio for a new dean of the College of Agriculture and Home Economics and Natural Resources at Ohio State. The chairman of that search committee is Dr. Francile Fireball, and we'll visit with Francile right after these messages.
The new 8000 series tractors from ALLIS-CHALMERS deliver 360-degree visibility and a sleek new styling with big, quiet, comfortable cabs. Enter from either side and carry enough fuel for a day's work. And here's the new 390 corn planter, available in 8, 12, 16, or 24-row units for accurate, conventional, or no-till planting. See your ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer today.
Francine, certainly nice to have you as a guest on AgriCountry. As chairman of the search committee for a new vice president of agriculture, what all does that entail?
Oh, and thanks for asking me. The search committee is looking for a person who can give leadership to agriculture, home economics, and natural resources. It's called Vice President for Agricultural Administration and Executive Dean. And we're supposed to recommend to the president and the provost a small group of people that we are convinced can serve in this capacity.
Who makes up the search committee?
We have 15 members of the committee, and we are faculty and then one undergraduate student and one graduate student.
But also those of us in agriculture were called into a special meeting to give input to your committee.
Yes, and we appreciate it. We had a great attendance. We had almost 80 people there to give ideas of qualities that people in the industry are looking for in this position. It's an important one to the state and to ag industry and to the other related areas, home ec and natural resources.
I was impressed because they certainly did share their thinking.
They did, and they had such a broad view of the concerns that I was impressed.
What kind of a person are you looking for?
We're looking for a godlike figure. We are looking for someone to give really vigorous leadership to our unit. As you know, we've certainly had that in Vice President Cotman, but we're looking for a person now who will have a strong commitment to the land-grant philosophy, to believe in the research that must be done through our OARDC and our extension program, and for someone who can have vision of the future and the needs that are facing agriculture and natural resources in home ag.
And when will this new person be on stream?
Well, we're hoping at least by the first of the year. You know that Vice President Cotman retires at the end of June, so we'll likely have to have someone in an acting capacity for several months, but we hope surely to have someone on board in January.
Francine, we appreciate your comments. Our guest, Dr. Francine Fireball, who is the director of the School of Home Economics here at the College of Agriculture at Ohio State, and also an assistant dean.
Good morning, I'm Judy Keller.
And I'm Todd Diesel, and we're hoping that you're enjoying AgriCountry as much as Ed Johnson and the staff at the ABN enjoy bringing it to you each week.
Many companies and firms have indicated a commercial interest in AgriCountry, and we're hoping that you'll take a few moments and give Todd or myself a call.
I can be reached at our Columbus offices at area code 614-486-9577.
Or I can be reached at our Northwest Ohio office, area code 419-435-6093. Together, let's continue to tell the story of Ohio's agriculture.
We of ABN TV have certainly enjoyed bringing you today's edition of AgriCountry. In fact, we welcome any suggestions that you might have as to family farms that we could visit. Just send that suggestion to ABN TV, 1819 West Lane Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43221. Next week, we're going to begin AgriCountry by taking you to the Country Acres Greenhouse just north of Marysville, Ohio. Then we'll travel clear up into north central Ohio, Huron County, to the grain operation of Lester Stoneham and Sons. And then we'll visit with Dr. Bill Swank, the executive head of the Ohio Farm Bureau. Join us next week for AgriCountry.
Thank you for joining us today for AgriCountry with Ed Johnson, brought to you in part by ALLIS-CHALMERS and your local ALLIS-CHALMERS dealer. AgriCountry recognizes farm families who produce daily our abundant food supply.